Hey guys, Harv here, and welcome to episode 11 of Space Tourism in the Kerbal space program. Wow, we actually made it to episode 11. Can you believe it? I can't. I really can't believe it. So, what are we doing today? We are working on our tourist infrastructure, right? Isn't that what I said in the last episode? Yeah, probably. So I'm going to make something. I'm going to build something incredible. I got a comment in one of the previous videos going, "Where's all the fancy stuff you've been talking about?" And here it is. This is the definition of fancy stuff, if nothing else. So, fancy. What shall I do? I'll build a massive hotel. Yeah? Maybe? No, I'll build a segment of a massive hotel, which will make it even more massive when it's actually finished. This is going to be the low Kerbal orbit. Hop, the milestone. So space tourists come up in the SSTO, and they dock with this thing, say if they want to have a break in orbit for a little while. I experimented with putting some good view using cupola command modules up there. And so they come and they dock using the SSTO, which means we need to have SSTO docking ports, which we can do very easily using those multiple adapters there. And we need to have it working quite well, like a bit of a hallway kind of system for them. So we need to make sure we get everything synced up correctly. And then they'll stay here for a little bit, and then they'll catch another shuttle out towards Jool, perhaps. You know, they'll be able to dock to all sorts of different things and get on different flights to different places. And it should work fairly well. So, here it is, the hotel. That is pretty much done, apart from a little bit of modifications. You see the interesting docking arrays on the top. There's 4 of them. The reason being that this is all quite big and probably quite wobbly as well. So anything I dock to this, I want to have a good firm connection with. So here's an adapter. This is how I'm going to adapt this onto a launch stage. And this adapter is going to be saved in subassembly as well, so we can use it for anything. Having 4 big docking ports like this is probably quite a solid design, at least based on the results of today's episode. So 4 panels, or 5 panels there, docking ports on each one, docked onto there, and then beneath in the center panel we can start building. So it adapts from 4 docking port arrays, or 4 docking ports in an array, down to a regular 3-meter size almost. You see what I mean when I slap this on there? Yeah? Yeah, it works quite well. It's quite modular, quite compartmentalized is the word, I believe. And this is helped by subassembly, because subassembly is beautiful and brilliant in every single way. And it means now that we essentially have a launch stage ready to go. Let's do a slowed fade out, thank you, and a quicker fade in, and launch. Look at that. It actually sits really well. You know what you have isn't going to be very stable when it's bigger than the thing that's lifting it. But it does work fairly well. The actual weight of this thing is way within the capacity. It's, what was it, 30 tons? Capacity of this being 90 tons, or 100, up to 100 tons. This is the SLS-2 carrying this, my second best launch stage. No, well, my best launch stage, the second version thereof. Right, that's what it is. And it's capable of carrying up to 100 tons into orbit, so this thing, easy. The only problem, of course, is that things will wobble, but it actually doesn't. There's actually no wobbling whatsoever. It's almost boring. It's almost boring if it were not for the fact that we're carrying something quite incredible. I tweeted a picture of this out on the Twitters. I believe that's what it's called nowadays. I tweeted this out and people went, "Oh, what series is this for?" Did I just say serious? What series is this for? And I went, guess. What else is it gonna be? One person goes, "Oh, it's a coffee shop." No. Okay, maybe it could be a coffee shop. They might have coffee on there. There might be a gift shop, so that when you come in or when you go out on a different trip, you always exit through the gift shop, right? That's could be something we could implement. This is going to be built upon. This isn't just the entirety of the station. I will be docking more things onto this. For instance, space planes, for coming and going, but also more regular things like fuel, because we do need to get the fuel capacity in order for our guests to be able to go to their chosen resort. And as I've mentioned previously, there's going to be another one of these, probably of a different model, different style. We want to have as much variety as possible, you know. there's going to be another model of these out at geostationary, or just below geostationary orbit, I believe. Because geostationary, you only get one view of the Earth. Having it rotate beneath you is a lot more exciting than just having one solitary face. Geostationary is for satellites, we don't need that. And besides, it takes quite a lot of delta V to get up there and circularize, so we don't really want to have to spend that delta V. When tourists will really be satisfied for anything, with anything. At least in this stage of tourism in space, you know. I reckon today, if you said to a random person on the street, "Do you want to go into space?" If they went, "Yes, definitely," and they were a normal person, then you go, "Okay, do you want to go into space here, or a few kilometers above that?" So what? What's the difference? Well, on one, the Earth seems to rotate beneath you a bit slower. Oh, I don't really care, is probably the response they'd give. Although, to be honest, if you asked a random person, "Do you want to go into space?" they go, "No!" Probably. I'm guessing that most people would say no. I don't know, actually. Would they say no? It depends. I don't really know, because I know about the space industry, or I like to think I know about the space industry. I don't know what common opinion is on space tourism at the moment. Because space tourism takes form really in Virgin Galactic, which is not an orbital spaceplane. There's no orbital space tourism as of yet, although you can go to the ISS. I'm not sure if they've had any tourists on the ISS yet, but that is a thing that's open. Brian Blessed wants to do it, which will be interesting. I really want him to do it as well. Nearly met Brian Blessed, and he's just an amazing person. Anyway, he really is an amazing person. He's climbed, or tried to climb, he's climbed, hasn't got to the top yet, but he's climbed Mount Everest 3 times! Without oxygen, 3 times. Rescued the guy up there. Man. Anyway, Brian Blessed for everyone. He's a member of the BIS. Brian Blessed is a member of the society that I'm a member of. So it's a very tenuous link there. But it means that I nearly met him at one of the conventions, but he ended up not going, which is a shame. Anyway, back to the video. British Planetary Society is something you should all be joining, by the way. It's a very cheap membership, but well, I say very cheap. Depends where you are. It's about £20 a year, I believe, to get a simple membership. And then from there it costs, it's mainly travel costs to actually go to the events. There's all sorts of interesting scientific lectures about the space industry in the past, space industry in the future. Alan Bond is a member, he talks a lot there. That's the pioneer of the Sabre engine for Skylon, which is what our SSTO is based on. And this is awesome. Astronaut Complex. It really is quite nice. Just enjoy the music a little. Okay, right, it's terrible music sped up to 4 times speed, but enjoy it! People complain, saying, "Oh, you should use proper music, actually put effort in, Harvey." Effort? No thank you. No. I like the music sped up to 4 times speed. I think it's very funny. It's far, I mean, after a year of doing it, probably a year, maybe, it probably has been a year actually, a year of listening to sped up VAB music. Despite that, it still hasn't got boring for me, so I'm going to keep on doing it. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, if it ain't broke, fix it before it breaks, is my slogan. But I'm not employing that slogan right now. Anyway, SSTO lined up on the runway with so many passengers. 4 passengers, 4 actual space tourists. Are they actual space tourists? I'm not sure. Shall they be actual space tourists? No, we haven't even got an industry for going out to the Jool yet. These are test tourists. They're members of our training program who were going to be declined. They had booked to become test pilots for moon missions, and they got declined. But we said to them, hey, you want to go into space as an astronaut, or Kerbalnaut? And they went, "Yes, please, we really want to go into space," in backward Spanish. And we went, well, okay, we're going to put you on this experimental flying machine that only one person knows how to fly, Matka Kerman, and we're going to stick you in a new space hotel. You won't get any catering. There's no food service yet. There's no biscuits, no snacks. There's no oxygen. There's no fuel. There's not an awful lot there, really, but you will be in space. They went, yeah, sure, let's do that, in backward Spanish. In backwards Spanish. I don't know what language that is. Maybe it's the Kerbal equivalent of Spanish. Perhaps. Anyway, so, SSTO. There's actually not an awful lot of footage here. I mean, it was an hour and 50 minutes of recording, but most of that was building, which I covered in the first 3 minutes. So what I'm going to do now, if I just edit this video, I'm going to skip forwards at this point, and we're going to skip all the way here. So we've got into orbit, right? We've got into orbit, and we are now here rendezvousing with this craft, and we're bringing it in closer. Maybe, oh, 9.7 kilometers there. See that? 9.7 kilometers. But, you know, we don't have to wait for that. We are, well, currently 3.6 kilometers away. Okay, interesting. We've got very little fuel, as it usually happens after doing our SSTO flight. It actually went pretty well doing it today. The single-stage orbit performed remarkably well on today's adventure, and it's now safely delivered its cargo up to orbit, but we need to bring in and do the rendezvous. So, bit of thrusting here, bit of thrusting there, and I've lopped 2 minutes off the time, which means this is a 16-minute video. 16 minutes space tourism. People had better complain about the length, otherwise I'll be disappointed. Hey, I only get so much done in each recording session, and there's no point watching something that you've already seen 10 times. Or 3 times, I think, we've seen the SSTO go up to orbit. Anyway, 2 kilometers away, 1.9 kilometers away. 1 point... Come on, change. Change number. 1.9, 1.8 kilometers away. There we go. So we're bringing it in close. Do some time acceleration, 1.7, 1.6, 1.5, 4. And the problem is our relative velocity isn't particularly fast, so as we move towards it, it moves away from where it was. So we just need to burn towards it a bit more. There we go. Now we're at 10 meters per second, 11 meters per second relative velocity. Within a kilometer, 500 meters away, 400. Start to make out little features now. It's just floating there in the endless blackness of space, and it is really quite unnoticeable because it's black on black, right? You can't see it. I think the lights are on, aren't they? I think there's lights. Well, we've got our landing gear lights turned on, so we're illuminating it from outside now. And as we come closer, 100 meters, we start to make it out a bit more. And now we need to actually test the docking part of the program. There we go, look at those lights, very bright. Just turn them off, seeing as we're close enough now. So, the 2 docking ports on their 2-way adapter are spaced apart evenly. They are evenly spaced apart. Using these adapters in 90 degrees, you know, adjacent to each other, as a perpendicular to each other, can be quite interesting. It's quite good that it works this way. Perhaps there's opportunity to develop this technology in the future. But for now, we just need to get this docking successfully completed. First time as well, no quick saving. This is all first time, and it goes very, very smoothly. So we bring ourselves to point north in the correct orientation, so that when we thrust upwards using our abysmally weak RCS thrusters, really are very weak. We've got tons of monopropellants. We might as well slap a few more on there. I think that wouldn't be... it would be acceptable, you know. So we bring our thing up, and we should be able to dock this on, and with any luck, the entrances to the command pods, where our fake tourists are staying, I mean test pilots are staying, where they're staying, they should be just about right to exit straight, or enter straight into the hotel. But we'll see, all in good time. So, bringing it up, and I wonder what the view from the command pod itself will be, actually. That'll be interesting to see. Will it get obscured by the panels? I don't know. This is all first time trying this. Okay. 3, 2, 1, and magnetism engage, and... oh, shaking around, it's unsure. Do I want to dock? Do I not? Do I want to? Please do dock. And it docks. There we go. Whew. Yes, and look at that. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. The command pods just 2x2 managed to fit in that little archway we have there. So not much of a corridor, but it does quite a good job of, you know, managing that. If it was a corridor, we'd actually be able to have 2 of these space planes docked next to each other, you know, on the sides that are perpendicular to one another. Unfortunately, actually, maybe it will. We'll have to test this. I'm not sure whether they will collide. Depends how far... Yeah, that wing does stick out quite far. That wing. That wing. I reckon it'll get in the way too much. Is my theory. So, they climb out, and they immediately jetpack in. There's not much room for them to escape from this bit. Apart from the massive big gaping holes where the other archers are, but you know. We can sort that. We may end up sending up a replacement version of this, a better, upgraded version. One with doors, perhaps. Who knows? Who knows what we could do? I think we'd rather devote our resources to actually expanding the frontier rather than upgrading. Which will happen in the next episode. So from here, I think we start working on similar hotels around the solar system. One in higher orbit, maybe lunar orbit, maybe Jool orbit, certainly Jool orbit. We shall see. Thank you very much for watching this shorter than usual episode of Space Tourism. Wonderful things are coming, my friends, wonderful things. And I shall see you all next time. Oh, just before I go, I would like a new introduction. If you want to have the chance of making HOCgaming a new intro animation, it's going to be within 6 seconds long, gotta be simple, gotta be snazzy, you know, kind of thing. You can email me at hocgaming@live.co.uk with your submissions. I look forward to seeing some of the entries. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.